Now we're going to talk about the word weathering. And when people think of the word erosion, most of the time they're really thinking about weathering. Weathering is when conditions break down the rock material outside. And this could be natural rock material or it could be something artificial. And there's two different kinds of weathering. There's mechanical or physical weathering and chemical weathering. And physical or mechanical weathering is just breaking the rock into smaller pieces. So I have here a homemade ice cube for my cooler. It is a cottage cheese container that I filled with water. And hopefully you know that water expands when it freezes. Hopefully you can see at the bottom of this container is a little bowed out because it hasn't actually split yet. But if I had put too much water in here, it would have split open. But this is what causes potholes. And it's a kind of mechanical or physical weathering known as frost wedging. So you get these natural cracks in the asphalt. In the wintertime, a little bit of water gets in. It freezes overnight. The water expands when it turns into ice. It puts pressure on the crack. The crack gets bigger. The next day, the ice thaws. Process continues the next night when the water freezes. Freezes and thaws, freezes and thaws. And pretty soon, the asphalt starts to break apart like it's done on my driveway. That's frost wedging. The same thing also happens with plant roots. If I turn the video over, hopefully you can see here on my front steps, there are some plants that are growing out of my retaining wall. And the pressure from those plant roots are actually helping to make that crack in the wall a little bigger. Guess what I'm going to have done to my house come the spring? It's not going to be cheap. But getting on to chemical weathering requires a chemical reaction. So, for example, we have salt that you might use to thaw out your front steps after an ice storm. And if you read the fine print, it tells you to be careful not to use it on cement because there's a chemical reaction because cement has calcite in it. It has carbonate minerals, and they can be broken down by these materials. And again, looking back at my poor front steps, hopefully you can see where some of the cement is gone because I didn't read the instructions and I used this ice remover. Similar sort of things happen to the undercarriage of your car during the winter when they put too much salt on the road. It can really eat away, it can really rust and break down the metal that is in your vehicle. So that's what we call weathering, the breaking down of the surface by either a physical or mechanical means or by a chemical reaction.